Hey everybody, it's Sunday, November 22nd, a day of history that we'll be talking about shortly. It's time for our favorite time of the week. It's time for the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. And for our very first show, after all three of us have met in person, please welcome Ken and Glenn and Yummy, a guy named Scott. Good evening, guys.
What is going on?
Our
my
show, after all
gentlemen
of us
amigos
have finally made personal connections. How about that?
But we haven't done it like all
together.
three of us at the same time. Yeah.
we haven't done it.
Well, you know what I mean. Don't get weird. It's too early in the show. We'll lose viewers.
We may gain some.
For everyone we lose, we'll gain 3 more.
Exactly. You can stand the attrition with those.
Oh my
Happy
God.
Sunday, guys.
That is
It
so
is November 22nd, as Scott indicated. It is the 57th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And as you both know, I was in attendance that day. I was at the parade. I saw Kennedy about 25 minutes before he was killed, driving about 15 feet in front of me. Plain
I did
view.
not know that. Really? I didn't.
You did not know that?
No,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was standing at the foot of the Robert E. Lee statue at Lee Park. That statue has since been removed in this big campaign to remove statues from the Confederacy days and so forth. But it's a significant day in our nation's history as we watch Ken tour through the different color options for our names. But on the 50th anniversary, I had the opportunity to take both of our children, who of course are grown now. They are 38 and 40, but 5 years ago they were 33 and 35, and I took them to stand on the exact spot where I was standing that day. And I think it really meant a lot to them, but just a powerful thing to have attended the parade that day. And how are you both? And Scott, it was a pleasure to hang with you
Same
in
here.
Las Vegas, my brother.
What a blast we had. Good grief. First of all, not only was it fabulous to meet you in person and hang with you in person, it was even better to do that while learning how to play craps. And I just want to say, you are the ultimate instructor. Tammy has basically got me handcuffed here. I've got an alert bracelet. I'm under house arrest, because I think she's so afraid I'm going to leave the house and get back to the craps table.
Did she set it to where if you get anywhere within 15 feet of a crap table, you get an electric shock?
Exactly. I get near my car door. It's like,
So we're going to give you a little reverse Pavlovian deal.
yes.
But we did play, and is it too far? Is it too extreme to say, Scott, that we played and we conquered?
We did.
We conquered.
You're amazing. I'll tell you what. You taught me the mathematics of it. It was fantastic.
We know Scott won $37. What did you win, Glenn?
In that
More than
session,
that.
I won $70-something. Scott left a little before I did. I have a mouthful of Jersey Mikes, by the way, for our tonight's game of What is Glenn Eating?
Bob Riddle says Glenn looks like a very famous movie actor. Are you? Wow.
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid celebrating Thanksgiving week. That's what I am.
First, we didn't know about the Kennedy parade. Now we didn't know.
Yes, that I make movies for a living.
You do that.
But I went on to play 3 more sessions after that, and all 3 were wins as well. This was an extraordinarily successful trip to Las Vegas. for those of you who do play, I want to remind you that the one edge you have is the use of your legs to walk over to the cage and turn in your chips for money and then leave the building. There is nothing that handcuffs you to the building. You don't have to utter the phrase, well, I was up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to utter that phrase. That's not a requirement. You can be up and actually have the session end that way and leave town. So I had a great time.
They serve free alcohol. I experienced this at the Mirage one night. I was playing blackjack, and back when I played blackjack, and I had a dealer that she was coaching me the entire time, and I was like, this is freaking awesome. And I went up $1,800 I started at 50, went up 18, and of course, I drank back then, so the Crown Royal was free, and I was like, this is beautiful. And then at some point the Mirage became a Mirage, and
then the Crown Royal itself began making decisions for you.
Yes. And I'm like, well, I got to bet more than $5 a hand. And she's like, well, we do have the high roller tables. They're $100. And yeah,
and let me guess, that seemed like a good choice.
Well, apparently. And yeah, I did not. I think I left there with $13.
Well, we live and we learn, hopefully.
Yeah. So,
hey guys, it's Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
What do you say we talk about the things we're thankful for?
Okay, Scott had a thought.
Well, I just want to ask before, and I'd love to talk about that. That's a great idea. But before we move in, Glenn, I'm a trivia nut on the presidents, and I did not know you were at the parade.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it's talked about a lot about the Kennedy assassination is that Dallas was very anti-Kennedy, because remember the last words that he heard supposedly was Nellie Connolly saying, "You can't say that Dallas doesn't love you, Mr. President."
Right.
What was the atmosphere at the parade?
Well, for starters, let me tell you that since that day, because of the impact of it, and obviously I was too young to fully grasp the depth of and the magnitude of what had occurred. But the reason I remember the entire day is because of the severity of it.
True.
And how it affected others and parents that were coming to pick us up from kindergarten who were bawling that day. And I remembered exactly what we ate, and I remembered how I dressed and all of this. But when I got old enough to have a cognitive thought, I started becoming a student of the assassination and really, really into it. And so much so that it's a lot of things that I only discuss privately with people. But I will tell you that it wasn't Dallas that was anti-Kennedy. It was the state of Texas. And that doesn't mean everybody. Obviously, Kennedy was very much a beloved president throughout the country. But there were some, we'll call it, hot areas, and Texas was one of those areas. And he had been warned that it might be a good idea to cancel his trip to Texas. And he said that he couldn't do that because it wouldn't look good for a president to be afraid of an outing like that. But he actually had been warned that there were, there was a lot of animosity brewing in the state of Texas, but it was not uniquely Dallas. It was the state. But unfortunately, that put in the understatement of a lifetime, it put a blemish on Dallas that took years to recover. And strangely enough, the two things that redeemed this beautiful city, and it is a beautiful city for anyone that's ever visited Dallas.
Yeah, it is.
It's an incredible place with incredible people. I'm grateful to have been born here, and I'm grateful that after 36 years away that we moved back. I never thought we would, but we are extremely happy here. And I will tell you that without question, the two primary things that returned this city to the map were the Dallas Cowboys themselves, very emblematic for this city.
Sure.
And strangely enough, but true, the series Dallas. the series Dallas was so popular in the late 70s. And between 1963 and 1978, Dallas just had this enormous blemish on it, is we were the city that had killed our president. And, obviously that's a bit extremist. The city didn't kill him.
Yeah.
But it was treated that way. And so a lot of people hated Texas for the death of John Kennedy, and specifically the city of Dallas. But thankfully, I think that's long since been overcome, and it's business as usual in Dallas. And now the presidents, I don't think, are any more careful about trips here than they are to any city in the world. So that's a good thing.
I'm fascinated. A friend of mine, we ought to get Mark on here. A friend of mine, Mark Shaw, has written some books about it.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, it started with him researching, of all people, Dorothy Kilgallen. Now that's
from the old "What's My Line?"
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, that's something that not many people, you got to be our age to remember that. But
yeah, but that was the name of the show, wasn't it, Scott?
Yes, What's My Line? She was a society reporter in New York, but then she also, what most people don't know, she was a crime reporter in New York as well, covered some of the trials. Well, anyway,
I never knew Dorothy Kilgallen's backstory.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Matter of fact, he's written 2 books about it because, interestingly enough, she had the only private interview with Jack Ruby
in jail.
In jail.
Wow.
And she sent a message back that she had a couple more people to interview to tie the pieces together, but she was going to have the story of the century. And then she was found dead.
Wow.
And it was attributed to a drug overdose, which my friend, the author, believes it was certainly murder, because there were so many things. She was in a guest bedroom. She was dressed differently than she'd ever dressed for bed in her life. She always took her makeup off before she went to bed. She has makeup on. But he theorizes that she was getting really close to something that people didn't want out.
Right.
Now, there's a million theories on it. I realize that, and I'm just fascinated by all of them. I've never talked to anybody that was at the parade. I didn't realize, like, Glenn, that's just
and get this. I've only known of, obviously my brother was there with me, my brother Brian, who's now deceased, but I've only met in my life one other person, and I think both of you will find this fascinating, who was at the parade, and we're very close to the same age. He was 2 years older. And I say was because he recently passed away. And both of you know who he is, because his name was Bill Paxton.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Bill Paxton saw John F. Kennedy about an hour and a half before I did. I was 5. It was just before my 5th birthday. And again, I can't tell you anything about that year, but I can tell you everything about that day because of its impactfulness. And that's the way memories work, associative memory. Yeah. If I can tell you everything about the day I broke my leg, but I can't tell you anything about that year of my life, which was the same year as Kennedy was killed. I broke my leg in 1964. Kennedy was killed in 1963. But Bill grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. And that morning, John Kennedy was speaking at the Texas Hotel in Fort Worth. He had basically a breakfast speech. And I find this very peculiar, but it's the truth. And again, I've done my research. I don't have any books in front of me. I can just tell you from memory, but it's very peculiar that he chose, and I don't know the why, but he chose to fly Air Force One after that breakfast. They flew in Air Force One, gentlemen, to Dallas.
Wow.
Which is 30 miles away. It's strange that they would have taken, but it's the truth. And they flew from the airport it's north, I think it's an Air Force base, north of Fort Worth, over to Love Field. DFW hadn't even been built yet, the airport. So President Kennedy landed at Love Field around the 11 o'clock hour, and the parade ensued They were driving fairly slow. And we probably, I'd say 30 minutes or so after the procession began is when they went down Turtle Creek Boulevard, and I got to see him.
Wow.
But Bill Paxton and I worked together in an episode. Finally, we worked together of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., ABC's series. And it was that day when we shook hands, and we had both heard that about one another, but we were standing there thinking, wow, you're the only other person I've met who attended that parade.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful that I had a chance to work with Bill Paxton, because a year later he was gone.
And weren't you in Dallas as the show?
I was also in the series Dallas. Yeah.
Wow.
So strange things, and our nation mourns. And yet this is not November 22nd, 1963. This is November 22nd of 2020, and itself a most peculiar year.
Yeah.
And it's the year that I met both of you, for which I will always only be thankful. And, you know, that's something that during Thanksgiving week, it's really appropriate to, I don't think it's fair to the year itself to label it a terrible year. We all know what happened this year that was different, but it's not the year's fault. And certainly many great things have occurred. This show is one of my favorite things about my entire life. I'm not joking. It's one of my favorite things I've ever been associated with. And it was born in 2020. So do I need, it was Meacham Field to Love Field. Yes. Do I need to be upset with the year when this year brought me both of you as my dear brothers and many other great experiences?
Did you guys see this comment right here? Saw an article some years ago that allegedly over 200 people, either directly or indirectly involved, ended up dying in very suspicious accidents. What?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Brad said this, interesting that the CIA records about the assassin, it's still classified.
Yeah.
Dude, come on, man. And nobody's like, well,
I guess they were waiting for anyone that had the inside scoop, whatever that is, to not be here anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
yeah. So I saw, I don't even remember where I saw it, but I saw something. I thought, I'm gonna stump Scott McCain with this presidential question tomorrow night. Yeah.
Well,
now,
what's the question, Ken?
Well, it's two questions. The first one, I don't remember the answer. So he can.
So whatever I say sounded pretty good. If I act like I know it rather than I'm guessing it, you won't know the difference. Okay, good.
So it's a two-part question. The first part, because for everybody watching that doesn't know this, Scott McCain is like world renowned for being an expert in presidential trivia.
I think we can call him the foremost authority.
There you go.
On this show.
Yes. Yeah. He can prove Google wrong.
Yes, you're the best of three, Scott.
Yes, thank you.
So, all right, two-part question. First one is, who was the very first president to be heard by listeners on the radio waves?
Boy, that's a great question. I'm not sure, but I think it was the inaugural address of Franklin Roosevelt.
I think you are correct.
I think that was the first.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, second one is, who's the very first president to be seen on television giving a speech?
And I believe that was Eisenhower.
No. Truman.
Harry S. Truman.
Truman. Okay.
Yep, it was Truman. The first one, you could be wrong, and I would not know.
Hence the expression, the Truman Show.
Oh, is that why? I think he gave the.
No.
I think is that where the Truman Show originated?
Not at all. It's called. I just made that shit up.
By the way, folks, I was wrong.
Oh, FDR and Truman.
No, I'm wrong. On December 6, 1923, President Calvin Coolidge took one small step for a president and one huge leap for communications at the White House. He was the first president to address the American people on broadcast radio.
Okay.
The first presidential election, though, that was covered was 1920, when radio station KDKA, which, by the way, was the first radio station licensed in America. How about that? And it's one of the only radio stations east of the Mississippi that's call letters begin with K.
They normally start with W.
W, yeah. Exactly. Wow.
But KDKA in Pittsburgh was the first to cover a presidential election, announcing that Warren G. Harding had been elected. Did you see that?
That's what JR, look at J. And did you know that Warren G. Harding is from the very spot in which I sit?
Yes.
Marion, Ohio.
Yes.
There's a presidential whatever you call it right up the street from where I live. For him.
Yeah. And he basically ran from Marion. He didn't leave Marion very much in the campaign.
Right.
Campaign on the front porch.
Yeah.
So, wow. But and they said his greatest qualification, he looked like he should be president.
Who? Harding?
Harding had like movie star good looks, but if you read about him, he was a philanderer and some of the biggest scandals in presidential history. But
it's all about the looks, baby.
There
it's
you
all
go.
About the looks.
There is one school of thought that says that he was poisoned. In fact, there are some historians who believe Harding died in office. There was a thing for a long period of time called the 20-year jinx. The first president to die was William Henry Harrison in 1840. He was elected in 1840. The next, by the way, one quick thing that's one quick thing that's funny. William Henry Harrison died because he caught pneumonia giving his inaugural address.
Oh my God!
Right.
So he was president for about a month. John Tyler took over. So this is 1841. John Tyler had a grandson that died this year.
Wow.
Because he had a son at like 70 years old, and then his son had a son at 70 years old. Well, anyway, but there was a 20-year jinx. Harrison was elected in 1840 and died. Lincoln in 1860 was assassinated. Garfield in 1880 assassinated. McKinley in 1900 assassinated. Harding in 20 died in office. Roosevelt in 40 died in office. Kennedy in 60 was assassinated. So every time a president was elected in a year ending in 0, they died. The next one that was up, 1980, Ronald Reagan, who was shot.
Yep.
But survived. And then 2000, it's like Reagan ended the jinx.
Wow.
Wouldn't it have been funny if Reagan looked up at his attending surgeon and said, "You're not going to try to keep this tradition going, are you?"
Oh my God.
Famous line to his surgeons right as they're about to put him under. And you know what that was? He said, "I trust you're all Republicans."
Oh, that's
great.
Funny.
That's awesome. You're all Republicans.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, one of the greatest episodes ever.
Oh my God. The frozen.
I've never seen it. I'm going to have to watch that.
The frozen turkey.
Tonight.
With God as my witness, I thought turkeys could fly is maybe one of the greatest lines.
Oh, wait. And they drop out of the sky, don't they?
Yeah, he's gonna have the general manager is gonna have a station promotion, the Thanksgiving promotion to end all. And Les Nessman describes it like it's the Hindenburg. Oh, the humanity.
Yes. I have seen a clip from that show because I had 2 students that did a scene from that, and that was the scene they did, is when the turkeys are falling out of the sky.
What a WKRP helicopter.
Yes. I did have the pleasure of working with Howard Hessman.
Oh, really?
I did, and we guest starred together when he turned 103. We did an episode of Lie to Me together.
I love that show.
Yeah, and it was cool. We had a wonderful time. We had some good laughs, and
Wow.
Were you a fan of that show? Did you ever see the show Lie to Me? I don't know how many episodes you
I
saw.
only did one episode.
You know, it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. I've never seen a show change so much in terms of how it's portrayed in the direction and all that. But Tim Roth, right? It was the star of that.
Yeah, they were live turkeys. I said frozen turkeys.
Yeah, they were live.
They were live.
Yeah.
But
The humanity.
Frozen.
Breaking windshields. There's turkeys scattered all.
Yeah, Ken, I just want to mention that frozen turkeys falling from the sky would be somewhat lethal.
Well, there were people on the ground though. Like,
can you imagine a 20-pound turkey falling from a couple of thousand feet up?
You're our lucky winner, splat.
Oh my God.
So what are you guys' plans? And I'm not only talking to my two cohorts here, I'm talking about our audience. What are your plans for Thanksgiving, guys? And let's talk in the predictable mode about Thanksgiving and that vibration, what it means to be in the modality of gratitude. And I personally think it is the highest available bandwidth we can operate from. And because of it, the fact that so many people are conscious of things they are thankful for during this week has always made it my favorite holiday. First of all, I love the crisp air of autumn. I also enjoy being aligned with people during their kindest stretch. And not everybody. I mean, you have some curmudgeons, no matter what time of year it is. There are people who are difficult in the holiest of days. But in general, I think that most people are a little more tenderhearted during the week of Thanksgiving. And I really celebrate that combined feeling of gratitude across the board in our country.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're going to Jill's mom's and ignoring the curfew. You know, you guys know we have a 10 o'clock curfew here.
You have a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., don't you, Ken?
10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Yep. Our governor, I guess, decided to join the Communist Party or something.
Governor DeWine.
Yeah. Former Governor DeWine soon, I'm sure. So, but yeah, we're going to Jill's mom's.
Isn't it interesting that during this political stretch, it was the same governors that kept being interviewed? It's not like I got to know all 50 governors.
Right.
There seems to have been a rotation of about 6 governors that constantly came up in the news. And certainly Governor DeWine was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, what are you doing for the holiday?
Tammy, my wife, is going back to Indiana, and I'm going to be here. And her brother, my brother-in-law Sean, is coming over. I'm fixing turkey, and he and I are going to have turkey together and watch some football for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's beautiful, man! I loved your house.
You got to watch the Cowboys, right? It's not Thanksgiving unless you got the Cowboys on.
The Cowboys won today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They won. Alert the media. We could be very close to the end of time. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota with a last-minute touchdown, and they won the game by 3 points.
Wow! And Minnesota had won 4 straight coming in. Holy cow! That's fantastic.
So I'm not upset about it. Cowboy victories this year have been few and far between. So we're gonna celebrate them when we can take them. And here's what's funny: our record right now is 3-7. Let me say this again: 3-7. And at 3-7, we are 1/2 game out of first place. It's really a terrible division this year.
Wow.
May I just add? Immediately prior to going on, my Colts beat the Green Bay Packers with a field goal in overtime after forcing and recovering a fumble. Green Bay got the ball to start overtime.
Oh, wow.
The defense punched it out and got the fumble, and they hit the field goal and won the game.
What is the Colts record right now, Scott?
7-4.
7-4. Well, that's strong. Yeah. And Green Bay's probably in that same.
They were 7. This took them to 7-4.
Right. Cool.
I don't know what the Steelers did. Did they play?
They won today. They are 10-0.
It's
You're
And it is,
joking.
you ready for
You're
this,
joking,
Ken?
right?
getting
Ken?
boring.
Ken, you're going to want to know this. You know, Scott's big on football trivia. How about me with my Pittsburgh Steeler trivia? You ready?
I'm ready.
First time in the history of the organization that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been 10-0.
What?
First time in their history.
Wow. Who'd they play today?
They played, they beat them handily to
Yeah, Jacksonville. Yeah, beat
Jacksonville.
big time.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Yeah, they walked all
yeah,
over them.
that was a great game too. I watched some of the Titans Ravens games. So for our friend in
And Tennessee won the game, didn't they?
yeah, they sure did. They sure did.
At the last
Yep,
minute.
in OT. So that sets up the Titans and the Colts next Sunday.
What
So-
about, did the Eagles win?
The Eagles lost today.
Sorry, Sandy.
In the
You know,
rain.
That's why Dallas really advanced to within a half game, because the Eagles lost.
Wow.
So Jeffrey Gittimer was probably experiencing some emotional pain over that one.
Yeah. And Sandy lives in Philly too.
So we're going to have an extremely dialed down Thanksgiving, very low, low key, alone with my mom. It'll be just the three of us. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to have time with mom. And, of course, the Cowboys and the Detroit Lions are the only two teams that play every year on Thanksgiving Day. And then a couple of years ago, they started adding a third game. They thought, people sit around and go back for round two. I mean, it's almost unpatriotic to not do leftovers. Don't you guys do leftovers after you have the big meal? Then many hours later, as if you haven't had enough turkey yet, you go back to do another assault
Yeah.
on the turkey with cranberry dress. I mean, the whole deal, the cranberries, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes and gravy. It's just so wonderful. What was Renee's comment? By the way, Renee sends her love to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
U.S. California borders are closed. We are in lockdown in British Columbia. No one permitted in our house unless they live inside. Sorry, no turkey here. We'll be putting up Christmas lights this Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, Renee was so thrilled to hear that we were not only connecting this week, Scott, but that we were actually at a crap table, because she's also my craps buddy.
Oh, no kidding. She sent me a nice note. So, but I didn't know that part. So that's very cool.
Look what Bruce Mills just said. A lot of people.
And yet the Browns won today.
Yeah. They beat Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, right. Hey, hello, Doug Wing.
Yeah, Doug's in the house. So, yeah, I love the. We've talked about this before. I like to practice gratitude on a daily basis.
Sure.
But you're right. There are a lot of people that are only reminded this time of year that now's a good time to be grateful.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people like that.
Well, the old saying is, I'll take it any way I can get it.
Yep.
In the South, we say, hey, baby, whatever blows your skirt up. So I don't really care what brings people into awareness.
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes. I don't care if it's the turn of the calendar. I don't care if it's the crisp autumn air, but whatever it is that forces someone into an awareness that there is so much to be grateful for. I'm just thankful that they get there, because the world's a better place to live this week.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's worse other weeks. It just seems to be kind of a dream world. And I would encourage everyone to extend their contract, extend their agreement with the Thanksgiving modality, so that it doesn't just last this week, but that it becomes, as you said, Ken, a year-round thing where all of a sudden this week is not 1 ounce more special than any other week, because gratitude is your new way of life.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I agree.
What are you guys grateful for? Give me some things that you're grateful for. And this is our audience too. Chime in what you're grateful for, and we can talk about it, and Ken will highlight it. And
Yeah.
let's see what some of our commonalities are. And there may be some very unique things that people are grateful for.
And too, Glenn, one of the things when I was first researching to do a sales training program, I found the study on what's called the reticular activating system. And I've never forgotten that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mental process, and how you would describe it in sales training is that if somebody has just bought a white Chevy Camaro, then all of a sudden, as soon as they drive off of the lot, it seems like everybody's driving a white Chevy Camaro.
Sure, because that's where their focus is.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I've always thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we could do that about gratitude?
Mm.
You know, if we activated that about gratitude and saw gratitude everywhere we went, then we would practice it more in our lives. And I don't find it a coincidence that those who are humbly and truly grateful have more to be grateful about.
Mm-hmm.
They've activated whatever it is that lets them see the things that are blessings as blessings.
Yeah.
You know, I took off on this. Boy, do I ever agree with you on that. I took off on this last night in a live that I did, a singular live, and then followed up a little bit on the plane today. And I want to get into it now because I think it's thought provoking. I will tell you that I mean this. You know, we've been inundated with this belief, certainly as long as I've been alive. I've heard my whole life that perfection is an illusion and that perfection doesn't exist. And you're wasting your time chasing perfection and so forth. And I got to tell you, I think that part of that is true, but the part that they would have us believe is a complete falsehood. So the part that's true is that chasing perfection is futile. However, not for what they would have us believe when we were taught that. We were taught that chasing perfection, that the perfection is what we shouldn't chase. And my feeling is that it's the chasing that's the problem. That perfection is not something you're going to chase down, but that rather perfection exists right here, right now. And I do mean perfection. I want to give you an example instead of just stating a wild ass belief with no support pieces or beams that surround that and give it any credibility at all. I will tell you that I have experienced long, well over what I would be capable of counting. Chapters of perfection, incidents of perfection. And I just came back I got in a couple of hours ago. We landed about 3 hours ago from a 10-day trip that included 3 days in Las Vegas, 2 of which were spent with Scott in what I would describe as perfect. It was a perfect trip. It was perfect time. Perfect conversation. I loved Scott, was so cool to just say, well, what time are you coming in, bud? And I said, midnight. Now, most of the world would say, oh, well, that's I'll just see you tomorrow. And instead he goes, where you want to meet?
He lives in Vegas. That's how
I understand. But what I'm saying is this is evidence of why Scott, like so many others, are my kind of people, because here's the deal. Opportunities must be seized, because when we don't seize, sometimes we find out that what we wanted to do is no longer available. Mm-hmm. Sometimes. So tomorrow may not arrive for one of us. It's not a paranoid belief. It's called we have now. And I'm up. I said, what time do you normally go to bed? And he said, usually around 1. And he said, you want to? Absolutely. And so we pulled over at the M Hotel. I pulled over. It's right off the 15 as you're coming in from Los Angeles. And I was driving in from North Hollywood. It's about a 4-hour drive and beautiful night drive. So again, with the gratitude, a beautiful night going across the desert is something that I enjoy. And how about this? No tunes. But instead, what am I watching? You may ask. The answer, I'm watching Scott and Ken, and I'm taking turns going back and forth between Daily Distinction and Ken's show, Breakthrough Walls. I'm going back and forth watching my buds, knowing that I'm getting ready to meet with Scott. And he says, yeah, let's just jump over to the M Hotel, the M Resort. I live fairly close. And I said, great. And, have you ever played craps? And he said, no. I said, might just be a night for a crap lesson. And we started out by having a glass of Cabernet together, and beautiful, perfect, again, conversation. And I think the word perfect, and I'll wrap this up, but this is what I'd like to open up for discussion. Perfect, we've heard beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, I would like to also amend that and say, so is perfection. Perfection is in the eye of the beholder. Scott, I don't know what you thought, but I'm going to tell you what I thought. I thought our time together was perfect in that it left me wanting for nothing, my friend, nothing. When we were done with our great visit, which conversationally, Scott's an extremely stimulating person to be around, and our ideas were flowing beautifully, and no surprise there. It makes sense that we've always been able to talk with each other. And then we migrated after our wine over to the craps table, where now the conversation changed and became about mathematics and so forth. And we played and we had fun and we enjoyed some more wine and we enjoyed victory. And then we both quit while we were ahead, and we went home and we got together the next morning after not nearly enough sleep. But you know what? We didn't let that stop us. We didn't complain about it. We viewed even that as perfect. I'm telling you, it's all mental. It's not even mostly mental. It's all mental. Just go ahead and decide in advance that this is a perfect day. Risk it and watch what happens to your life. It's a perfect day. This is a perfect outing. We're going on a perfect lunch, instead of saying, well, I hope it works out all right. I mean, I don't know. I haven't met Tammy yet. It could be a total disaster. We went into it and we had a beautiful time. And I said, Scott, what if I come by and do Daily Distinction with you? And he said, great. So I swung by the house. Their house is incredible. Just a beautiful, everything about it feels, once again, perfect. And we did a perfect show. And then we went out and had a perfect lunch. And we even visited with the women that were in the neighboring table and had a perfectly warm engagement of them. And that's every single thing about this trip was that way. So I'm here to just take a stand for perfection, that perfection is based on your contentment with a moment, so that you can go, I don't need anything more in this moment. I find that I don't want anything more. I celebrate this condition of enoughness, and it's how I feel in this very moment, guys. I kid you not. I don't want anything more than what I'm experiencing right now with the two of you on Thanksgiving week. Now I've had time with you both personally. I love you both dearly. I love our audience. I love our lives. I love our country. This is an incredible country, and I hope that we get back to being in alignment, because we've been politically divided this year. I hope that we can leave that in the rearview mirror. And Daddy's feeling mighty fine after a 10-day perfect trip.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Wow. Amen. I mean, I've got nothing to add to that. You described it perfectly. The perfect time that we had, because it was.
And we will do it again. And I can't do it until tomorrow, Scott.
And here's something though that is cool, because I'm feeling left out.
But you went and tell us about your perfection in North Carolina. Dude.
Yeah, I will. No, but I Scott and I have actually hung out together at the M Resort.
We have.
Yep. So see, we all three have a common ground now.
Just like the parade we were talking about earlier, right? The M Resort is our common ground. Yes, absolutely.
And Glenn asked me about like the rooms that I've stayed at the M. It's a their rooms are.
And they comped me, and I didn't even stay with them, but they offered me a full comp. So next time I'm up there, I will stay there.
It's a great place off the strip. Their steakhouse. What's the name of the steakhouse again, Scott?
Anthony's.
Best steak in Vegas, I think. I mean,
Scott's going to take me to the Golden Steer.
That's my favorite steak in Vegas.
Really?
Have you been to the Golden Steer?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like being in 60, but it's not just the steak. It's like you're in 60s Vegas. Like they have the Frank Sinatra booth. Well, above the Frank Sinatra booth, there's a picture of Frank eating in that booth. They have the Marilyn Monroe booth. They have the Sammy Davis Jr. booth. They have the, and so what they've done in this COVID time, for distancing, is every other booth they have a mannequin of that performer in the booth. So like in the Maryland booth, they also have Joe DiMaggio wearing a Yankees uniform, sitting there. It's really, really cool. But boy,
that's great.
A quick story about it. I may have told you, Ernest, I don't know Buck 49. I need to figure that out. So this guy comes out, we order a Caesar salad and they make it at the table. We read that on Yelp, right? They make it at the table. And this guy came out to make our Caesar salad, and I don't know how old he is, but he looked like he'd stepped out of the grave for a cigarette. I mean, he was so he's spinning the bowl, and he's tossing it and making the salad the whole bit. And I said, so how you've been here a while? I said, yeah, I've been here almost since opening day. Yeah, I've been here forever, 30, 40 years. I said, well, who's the most famous person you ever made a salad for? And he keeps spinning the bowl, and he's looking up, and he's, you can tell he's thinking, and I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe, has he made, and he said, well, okay, so I've made salads for Frank Sinatra, Elvis, and Michael Jackson. Which one do you think's the most famous?
Wow. Wow.
Three-way ties is fine with me with those,
And then suddenly you didn't feel as badly about your $35 salad.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you realized it was being anointed.
Or my 5% tip. Hey, honey, Elvis tipped him. I'm sure he's good.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're going to undertip because he was overtipped by the stars. That's
Sinatra's tipped him a lot. He doesn't need our.
Wow.
No, I would never. I would.
Can we go there when I come back, please?
What's that?
Can we go there to the Golden Sphere when I come back?
We would love to do. Well, it's in.
I'm going to be in
Old Vegas. No, it's off of Sahara. It's in a strip mall off of Sahara, and I mean, so Tammy's who found it, and
is it the northwest corner?
As you are going toward, as you're going down the strip, like you're going towards Las Vegas, the city, not the strip, right? Old Las Vegas. You turn left. You turn left on Sahara.
And it's on your right.
And it'd be right there on the right.
Yeah, so it's the northwest quadrant.
In this filthy strip mall, because I had a speech on Valentine's Day 2 years ago, and Tammy picks me up at the airport. We were going to go to dinner, right? So I fly back in. It's Valentine's Day. She said, I'll take care of everything. And we pull in the parking lot, and I thought it was a joke. I'm like, oh, honey, where are we seriously going? I mean,
wow.
I was like afraid to walk from the car to the, come on, let's face it, laundromats and bail bonds and
hookers.
The restaurant. Yeah, come on. This is and we walked in, and I will never forget, because Oscar Goodman is the longtime mayor of Las Vegas, and his wife, Carolyn, is now the mayor of Las Vegas. There is a steakhouse downtown Vegas called Oscars, which
it's in right at the end of Fremont Street.
Yes, exactly.
I know where it is. It's in the Union Plaza Hotel.
It certainly is. Okay, so we walk in, and at the first table when you walked in, there is mayor and mayor, husband and wife, Goodman. So they own a steakhouse, and for Valentine's Day, they went to this steakhouse. It just
so they were at Golden Steer.
Yeah, so they were Golden Steer, even though he owns a steakhouse, in downtown Vegas. And I'm here to tell you, it is like stepping back in time, and the food is just phenomenal. So yeah, I'm like St. Elmo's in Indianapolis and Golden Steer in Vegas. I'll go there anytime anybody wants.
Now, can I throw another one at you, which is considered to be one of the highest? And I got to say, it's admittedly surprising, shocked the living daylights out of me. But do you know a very highly rated steakhouse in Vegas is called The Steakhouse, and it's at Circus Circus?
I've never been there.
Which is a dive.
Oh, it's a dump. Yeah.
However, and I was like, oh, come on. You got to be pulling my leg. And
Really?
a local told me about this about 25 years ago. Yeah. I went in. They've won every award you can win. It's all over the walls. And why it is at Circus Circus, I do not know.
Wow.
But I'll tell you, here's what's cool. The minute you walk in, trust me, Scott, take Tammy over
I
to
will.
the steakhouse
At
at Circus Circus. When you walk in, it takes you about an eighth of a second to forget that you're within the Circus Circus casino.
Wow.
And you are now lost in total elegance. It is so nice.
Wow.
My stepfather, Harry Morshower, was a bit of an elitist, very wealthy man, corporate CEO, and he didn't do trash. He did everything first class. And he taught me go all the way or don't go at all, which I really am grateful for. And I told him, I said, listen, I've been over there. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. It became his favorite place to go to in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Wow.
And I never
You-
thought I'd get him to set foot in
Yeah.
the Circus Circus casino
Yeah, of course.
because he hated children. Did I say disliked? Did I say disliked? No, he didn't dislike children. He hated children.
Well, there's no children in the casino.
That would be wrong.
Well, you got to
go
walk through.
You go through
Yeah.
crowds of
Oh, I
children.
know that we've been there many
You go through
times.
crowds of children to get to the blackjack tables
Yeah.
and so forth. And
Yeah.
even when you're at the tables, you still hear all of the crying kids.
Yeah,
So it's not a big gambler's destination,
yeah.
but man, the steakhouse rocks.
Wow.
And you can tell it's a good place when your wait staff has worked there like 30, 40 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just not, they don't rotate. They love their jobs.
Have
Yeah,
you ever been
Abigail-
to Hugo's Cellar at the Four Queens? Either of you guys?
No.
Uh-uh.
Same thing. Four Queens. I mean, and it's this. It's the basement of the Four Queens, and it's another like you walk in and every waiter's got a tux on, and every lady gets a rose when you walk in, and it's just it's fantastic.
Ken, what did you start to say about Abigail?
Her favorite place in Vegas is Circus Circus.
Well, of course.
we went there every weekend. It seemed like we were there all the time.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite place.
Well, it is 52 after the hour, and every week, Scott,
It's time once again for us to play that great game. Ooh, that's just wrong. As we do every week at exactly this time. So thank you for catching the exact moment there, Glenn.
I'll lead tonight,
Okay.
which is, I mentioned to you that I was going to be taking my dear friend Gina out for dinner before I left town. And Gina is my friend Don Phillips' wife, my dear bestie, who was killed in a motorcycle accident on September the 8th of 2018. So just over 2 years ago.
Mm.
And Don and Gina were married 38 years, and he was killed at age 64. But Gina and I have been friends all these years and are still friends. And I reached out to her and mentioned I was in town and said, would you like to grab some lunch together before I leave, or dinner, whichever works for you tomorrow? And so we did have dinner, and we went to this beautiful place in the Arts District. You know where the Arts District is, Scott?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we went there, and it was called Esther's Kitchen,
Ooh,
and you would like it. It's very nice.
try it.
Italian food. And it was her recommendation because she and Don used to eat over there before they would go. What is the name of the theater? Do you know the theater that gets like nice plays and things that come through? And
The Smith Center?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The Smith Center. And so they had season tickets for whatever was playing at the Smith Center. And they fell in love with that experience. They said they loved going over and seeing these incredible Broadway type shows that would
Yeah.
come through town. And of course, if you want great theater or you want great shows, Vegas obviously is one of the big draws of the world. And so we went, and my that's just wrong is I got there a little before Gina, and we had requested outside seating, and they walked me over to our table and set me next to, and when I say next to, I mean that I could reach my hand. Let me do it this way. I could reach my finger. Here's how far I had to reach. You think I'm kidding. I'm not. This is how far I had to reach, about 5 inches to my right to touch a car.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's where the table was. So
Wow.
they, instead of roping off the street, which a lot of restaurants are doing now in Los Angeles, and blocking the street off from auto traffic to give themselves some dining room, They just set up tables on the sidewalk, and they really didn't have enough room for the tables. So they pushed them right up next to a car. And I couldn't believe it. And I thought, no. Let's just go with no.
Wow.
And when Gina got there, she looked over at me and shot me the stink eye of no, we're not doing this. So she said they have a back patio, which I didn't know about. So they moved us, but that's just wrong. And you're not paying cheap prices. I mean, it's an expensive dinner. So I don't really want to pay top dollar and smell exhaust. I don't know. Am I alone there, guys, or what? But I should
Totally
have
with
taken
you.
a photo. I really erred in not taking a photograph because I wanted to show it on the show how close this table was. You would have bumped it while reaching to feed yourself with your elbow.
Wow.
But we
That
got
is-
away from there,
that's-
which was
that's
cool.
wrong.
And we left someone else to have that miserable experience.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, I just looked it up here. It's 4.7 stars out of 5 with over 1,000 reviews. So that's obviously
You would love it. Take Tammy over Esther's
I
Kitchen.
will. That's terrific. Terrific.
Scott's lived in Vegas for like 30 years and he's learning all this stuff from
I
Glenn.
know. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Well, he knew
it-
about the fish tank. He knew about the
Yeah,
ultimate
dude, the fish
tank.
tank in Silverton. We've been there. You bet. Yeah, right there by.
Did you guys have an observable that's just wrong this week?
Yes, I did.
Ken's still
Scott.
in physical pain over it.
Scott, do you want to go?
You know, I had such a great. Sandy is asking about a 4-star place, very expensive French. You might be talking about Pamplemousse, which, by the way, just announced it is not reopening. It closed for
Oh.
COVID, and it's if that's the one you're thinking of. Tammy and I've eaten there a couple of times, and it's a house basically. On Flamingo, I think.
Pamplemousse, Flamingo, and what, Scott?
Like Flamingo and Paradise or Koval. It'd be
Yeah, Koval.
it'd be in that area, but it's
Okay.
just kind of like a house that's set there.
So not
and-
far from the Tropicana.
Right. And they closed it, over COVID, and then they were going to reopen, and they've just decided now to just go out of business. Really, really sad. It was a great place to eat. No, that's just wrong is having back trouble. And guys, I after you finish yours, Ken, I think I'm going to pull the chute because now sitting is the worst on lower back. I've had some lower back issues, and now I'm at that point where the tops of my legs are asleep.
Ooh.
So,
Oh,
it's
man.
stupid. So I
You
get
know
it.
what's good for back pain, Scott?
What's that?
Craps.
Yeah. Hey, you're standing instead of sitting, right? I mean, it's good.
Listen, call me a medical doctor, but I have your medical best interest in mind when I say this.
Oh my God.
Ken, what was yours, Bubba?
So, as you know, I went down to North Carolina, hung out with Jeffrey Gittimer and Doug Wing for a couple of days, and it was absolutely phenomenal time. On the way home, have you ever been on a long road trip and suddenly you have to you realize you have to find a bathroom?
Like
And-
right now.
And I'm not talking about from drinking too much water. I'm talking about
Yeah.
yeah. So
You're not going in a cup like Glenn when this.
no,
Yeah.
no, God no. So I find a rest area, and I barely make it, and oh my God, this is horrible. So I'm sitting there, and couple of stalls down, the dude flushes, gets up, leaves, whatever, and water starts running under the stall into my stall. I mean, a lot of it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully it contained a trophy in the water.
Thank God there was nothing in the water, but it was still toilet water. And I was like, I I was stuck. I was like, I think people heard me drop an F.
Well, hence
I
the
was like, what the?
Ken, hence the expression, I don't need this shit.
I mean, I could not believe this was happening. I was like, no, this is not good. Anyway, so yeah, that's my just wrong. So
That is very wrong.
it was so wrong.
Hey, Ken, did
so-
you see Charles just said the same thing that you recommended?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. And look, this is the guy right there. Justin, connect with Scott. Hey, I'm telling you, man, this stuff is magical. I'm not exaggerating. It's magical.
So what do you do? You just rub it and it absorbs through your skin?
Well, this is,
Or do you take it?
this is ingestible. So you put it under your tongue, hold it there for 5 minutes, and then, rinse it down. But I'm telling, and Justin sent us this roll-on CBD stuff, and the way he processes it is different than any company in the world. It's called cold pressing, and I don't know, but anyway, sent the roll-on. My wife gave it to my mother-in-law who has arthritis in her knee, and she's saying it is helping tremendously with her arthritis.
I would like to order some of that for some shoulder pain.
That's Justin needs to connect with you guys. He'll send you a free sample. So he's a good dude, man. He'll send you more than a free sample. He always sends. So anyway,
I want to tell you, gentlemen, that I want to give a special shout out to a particular viewer we have, because we have a gal who watches us religiously every Sunday evening named Magdalena. She goes by Lena, and you will see her. She is Reenie's mother, and they live together in British Columbia, and they are watching tonight. I spoke with Reenie last night, and she told me that Lena watches with her every week and gets such a kick out of our show. And I want you to know that she takes the cake as being our oldest viewer that we have, because this next April, Lena will be 99 years old.
Wow.
And I should say 99 years young, because she has so much energy. She's a real go-getter. I think she has within her, and I mean this, I think she has the capacity to be the oldest living person who's ever lived on this planet.
Wow.
I mean that. I think that that's where she's headed. She shows no sign of fatigue. She laughs. She's healthy. She also, by the way, stays away from doctors. This is something that she has spoken about. I'm not on an anti-doctor kick, but she just believes that your answers are within. She has so many proven home remedies that basically everything is choice, consequence, cause, and effect. What's going on here? Then do this, and don't do this. And so, Lena, I want to just tell you that I love you, and we, the three of us, love you. We're grateful for your viewership, and God bless you, dear sweet woman. And Reenie, bless you for taking such good care of your mama. And happy Thanksgiving, even though I know it's not the Canadian Thanksgiving, but happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and much, much love.
Wow.
Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, for those of you that don't know that. It comes roughly 1 month before the American Thanksgiving. But Lena, happy Thanksgiving to you and Reenie up there in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Clapping
awesome.
her hands.
She calls her Oma.
That's so sweet.
Oma's clapping.
Wow. How old is she again?
She's 98. She'll be 99 in April.
Wow.
And I hope that the borders open back up so that I can be with her when she turns 99. And certainly again, when she turns 100, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Wow.
And I'm just grateful,
That's awesome.
and she's a testimony to attitude. She doesn't run any drama in her life. She's a big fan of milk and a big fan of eggs. And she tells me that she feels both have been very, very helpful in her
Wow.
life, but she's just got such a spirit. And we did that interview, Ken, and we'll have to do one where we interview Lena
Yeah.
on the show, and we'll do it sooner than later. But I would
Hey.
love to let her speak on her beliefs.
Have you guys
About
seen
what
my
makes
shirt?
Oh, you got a Jeffrey Gitomer type shirt.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we should definitely have her come.
Yeah,
on
and
the
I
show.
would even say tonight, except I know Scott's leaving, and I want Scott to be here because she has a thing for you guys. She really adores both of you. Rennie told me last night, so I want to make sure it's on a night when we're all three here. But wouldn't you guys be up for learning what a 98-year-old woman
my
says
God.
is the secret
Absolutely.
to life?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if we're lucky, she will sing the Ave Maria, which
Ooh.
she sings beautifully.
Wow.
Anyway,
Give me just a
beautiful.
second. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Sure.
I'll remove him.
And if Scott extends his stay with us, then who knows?
Yeah.
So what are you guys thankful for? I've been asking, and I
There's
haven't
a
seen
lot
any-
of comments.
about things people are thankful for. Let's see some of them.
Yeah, let me see. Well, it sounds like he's grateful for receiving his free sample from Justin. Justin,
Nice.
by the way, Justin, I got on the phone with him, and my wife had questions about some of it, and
Does Justin live in Cali?
He does. He
Yeah.
lives in crap. Why can't I remember?
Northern
just told
Cal
me.
somewhere.
He's just north of is it Venice?
No, Venice is in the LA area.
Yeah, he's just north of LA, about an hour north, he said.
Oh, okay. Well, that's Bakersfield,
No,
or is he on the coast? Is he in the Santa Barbara area?
I don't know. I'm sure he'll Ventura.
Yeah, Ventura is about an hour away.
Yeah. So let's see what some people are grateful for. Why don't you guys drop a comment? And I saw my buddy Eric Overly, who is a law enforcement officer, dear friend of mine. He said he's grateful for adoption. If he wants to explain that, he can, but yeah, I understand what he's saying. So Bob Riddle says, I'm grateful for being able to retire from corporate America in February, right before the country got shut down. God bless America.
Oh, wow.
Scott, I got you back. Oh, you're standing.
I thought I'd try standing up and see if that was better. So sorry about that, guys. If
no,
I'm looking
don't be
down, it's because the
sorry.
monitor's down here and the camera's up here.
See,
now, so.
you see, he's already readying himself for the craps experience. You can see it taking shape.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, quick craps test. What do you win on the first roll?
7 or 11.
Ooh, very good.
Yes!
What do you
Very
lose on the first roll?
Oh shit.
3.
You correct.
Okay.
3,
There are two other numbers.
5.
5,
No, a loss on the first roll.
3 and 11.
No,
Or 3
And you
and
win on 7 and 11. You lose on 3,
2 and 12.
3, 2, and 12. All right, I missed
2,
that, but I
3, and
remember
12 in
bet
order.
6
2,
and 8.
3, and 12. And what are those called? Those are called craps.
Craps.
That's the name
Oh.
for it. 2, 3, and 12 is craps. So when they
Crap.
roll it, they'll say 2 craps. If you roll a 3, they say 3 craps. If you roll a 12, they say 12 craps. And then they remove your money.
And 12
And
craps.
it got
is
its
too
name
many.
because when they take your money, you go, crap. And then the other 6 numbers are called points.
Mhm.
And if you roll one of those on the opening roll, you have to repeat them before you roll a 7. That is craps.
here's what Eric was saying, being adopted and going through the process of sharing the gift with a 14-year-old young man. Eric and his wife are adopting a 14-year-old young man. And I just think, and Eric he's a detective, but he's one of the most amazing humans on this planet.
Mm.
And the fact that he's doing that is just, it chokes me up a little bit. Such a good dude. Congrats to you, bro. Justin said, grateful to join the Grow Live Academy.
Yeah,
So yeah. Woo, woo. He joined last night. So thank you for that, Justin. Welcome, man. Welcome. So what else? There's got to be other things people are grateful for.
I want to tell you what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my mood that just seems to not go away. Just a mood of radiance and gratitude. And you can say, well, what's it based on? It's like, what kind of time do we have? How long a list would you like to hear? And I think it's about, there's an old saying that I picked up years ago, and it's life-changing. It truly is. I didn't author it. I don't know where it came from, but I picked it up and I always kept it, which is that the easiest way to have what you want is to want what you have.
Yep.
So take a look at what you already have and start finding ways to want that. And then you'll have what you want. And it's just so beautiful. And I've been in this mindset for many, many years. And it was not something that was fueled by developments in my life professionally, but rather the other way around, that the beliefs and the rejoicing preceded the developments, just preceded them, because I'm grateful for the gift of life. And I don't know what's left to come my way, but what I know is that every day we open with a clean slate. If we allow it to be that, we can start fresh with a brand new outlook each new day. We can look forward to the newness of the day. And I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful that I'm at that mile marker in life where I sort of get to pass the torch. And Carol Burnett is the one that taught me that. Carol Burnett is the one who said, sweetheart, it's your time now. She said that to me in 2007 at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and I will never forget that. She said, it's your time. I was trying to praise her at the table. She was sitting at the adjacent table during the awards. She's a big 24 fan. And I walked over to meet and greet Carol Burnett, and we had a lovely chat. And when I was telling her how much I enjoyed the Carol Burnett show as a kid growing up, and thank you for all those warm memories, she said, well, first of all, you're entirely welcome, but I want you to know this. Sweetheart, it's your time now. Cherish it. Breathe it in. And so I'm still having my time, but I also recognize that much of the time I've had is in the rearview mirror, and it's exciting for me to help others get ready to receive their time. And now is that time. And that's, if I teach the rest of the way, I'm a happy dude. Did Scott drift away?
Scott sent me a text. He said it's hurting too much.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Well, Scott, I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodnight to you, buddy. I was rambling.
Yeah, it's all
but
good.
Get to feeling better, bro. Maybe he can relax and lay down and catch the end of the show. Chad says, grateful for God waking me up the other night and giving me the next piece to the puzzle. Next book, Living Full and Filled. 10 F's that make life worthwhile. Ooh,
wow.
That sounds really delicious, Chad.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Eric said one of my favorites. I'm thinking he meant Carol Burnett, maybe. I'm sure he did. I know, Eric. You and Eric you guys would hit it off. You'd love
Speaking of Eric, I want to wish Eric Swanson a happy birthday. Eric's birthday is today. So I don't know that Eric will necessarily see this, but we certainly operate in circles where many people that know us and are buds of ours are buds with Eric. And so, Eric, we send you a happy birthday, bud. I hope you're out celebrating and enjoying yourself somewhere. In San Diego, I believe you are right now.
Bob says, loved 24, Glenn. Miss it. Just excellent writing and acting. Kudos to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Bob. We all miss it too. And we're hoping secretly that there will be a 24 comeback of some sort, even if it's like a TV movie, just a 1-2 hour movie or possibly a feature film. They've been talking about a feature film for years. And I will tell you that my friend Ron Cohen sent something to me that was very interesting. I can't even talk about it, but he sent me an interesting script that, that could, I read it and I loved it. And I'm going to make sure that it's seen by some people, and you just never know. You never know what they might do. If we can't get Delilah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If we can't get Delilah on your show, let's get Glenn on her show. I know a guy.
Well, if you know a
let's-
guy, let's get her on our show.
Yeah, but how about let's do it either way. Let's try to have Delilah
Yeah.
come on our show, but if that can't be done, Justin, I would do Delilah's show in a heartbeat because frankly, I don't think there's anyone who will get a bigger kick out of the story of how I actually thought that I was going to help this small town America woman get a leg up and get the hell out of Shreveport.
Oh my
And
God.
nothing against Shreveport. Shreveport's a lovely community, but I thought, girl, it's time to get your big panties on because you have outgrown this town. I think you could possibly go national. And then I find out that I'm the village idiot, that she's long since gone national. And the whole thing was a huge joke on me, but thank
It
God
was
I have a
funny.
sense of humor about it.
Oh, that was funny. You know, I was just sitting here thinking, Glenn, as you were talking a second ago, you look like Agent Aaron Pierce more tonight than any night since I met you.
Really?
I swear. You
Okay.
maybe it's the jacket,
I'm going
maybe
to tell you why.
it's the haircut. it's
One, I cut my hair even shorter, and I just
Yep.
did it yesterday in LA last night. I buzz cut it the length I did it, Aaron. I also buzz cut my beard shorter, so
Yeah.
you're seeing it without it being long, which means I almost look beardless because of my gray on my sides. So I kind of do look like Aaron tonight.
You do, man. I was sitting here going, wow, I feel like I'm talking to Agent Pierce right
But that's not bad given that it has been 10 years since my last episode. In fact, it was in 2009, Christmas of 2009 was my last episode. And I have lost weight, Sandy. Thank you for noticing. And I made a conscious effort to do so.
Wow, good job, dude.
Don't you remember, Kim, when I said I'm going to drop some weight before I go back to The Resident?
Yep.
And we go back filming December the 8th. I mean, they're still filming right now, but my next episode is December the 8th. And I said that I wanted to drop about 8 to 10 pounds. And I'm at about 7 pounds right now.
Now, when you go over, do you know how long you're over there or don't know yet?
What, in Atlanta?
Yeah.
We're splitting because of the holiday, this particular episode. So they're shooting 2 back to back. So one group is 8 to 18, and then they break for Christmas and come back January 4th. So I'll be making 2 trips to Atlanta.
Wow.
Early December and early January.
I think that is so hilarious, Glenn. What is it that was hilarious?
I don't know what she's referring to.
I mean, every other word that comes out of your mouth is hilarious. So.
Well, I like to have fun. But I'd be curious what she was referring to in particular.
And Justin, what is he referring to? That's my favorite story I've ever heard on this show.
Was it the one about Carol Burnett?
Oh, might be. Yeah.
About passing on, it being your time? No
Might
telling.
be. Will you gain 7 back on Thanksgiving weekend?
Actually, Chad, I will resist the urge. And by the way, my diet, when I lose weight, I go with this cutting edge concept of eating less. Oh, she's talking about the Delilah story. Yeah. And so if you're serious about getting that worked out with Delilah, I would love it. I would.
And then you
absolutely love
can
it.
get her to come on our show.
Oh,
if you're on her show.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why I said yes to me being on her show, because when I tell her that story, don't you know it'll be a pleasure for her to come have fun with us on our show?
Yeah.
And then I'll certainly fill her in. Who knows? Maybe she's a 24 fan. If not, maybe we can get her started on watching The Resident. But I just think Delilah is incredible.
Yeah.
Justin says he'll get it done. The answer in advance is yes, Justin. I'd love to be on Delilah.
Everybody here knew it was the Delilah story except for me and you
and me. But no, I think it'd make for a great radio story with Delilah.
She would
get it, because if I were her, I'd get a big kick out of it.
Oh, she'd get a kick
if she were driving through my town and she thought she was going to give me a hand. I'm like, sweetheart, I've been making movies for 45 years.
Right. That is so funny.
Oh, Kellen Ann's been listening to her for years. Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So, man, you traveled with a flatulent cat. You want to tell everybody?
Tell you about that.
Tell everybody about the kitty.
Well, it was a coin toss as to whether or not I was going to drive or fly.
Well, they don't know why.
Well, I'm going to explain that. There was a coin toss as to which one, because I went to Vegas in my Honda, which I keep in North Hollywood, and was up there for a couple of days and trying to decide if I should drive on from there to Dallas, because my daughter, Emily, is buying a home with her boyfriend, Joe, and Emily's cat, Alistair, whose nickname is Bean. He is a monster-sized 18-pound orange tabby. He's just stunningly beautiful. The problem is Joe is highly allergic to cats. And so all of their time together is spent at Joe's apartment because he can't even go to her apartment. It's that bad. And even if the cat weren't there, the dander that is in the couch, he would have a reaction to. So when they move into this home, which is in about 3 weeks, Emily's going to have to part with her furniture as well, because, or even she said that she told me this morning, she said, Dad, I don't even think they can deep clean it in a way that would keep his allergies from acting up. So we did what parents do. We intervened and said, hey, we'll take him. She knew she wanted us to take him because then she knows that he'll be in great hands. She also knows she'll get to visit him that way whenever she comes to Dallas. So I got on a plane out of Burbank today with Alistair in a bag. And here's the problem. Alistair has a farting problem. And it's not a little bitty problem. He is extremely flatulent, as they say. And I've never seen a cat do that. I've had a grandfather that used to do it all the time. And he would chuckle. He would cut a fart and then laugh when we reacted to it. And then when our kids were growing up, I used to tell them whenever I would want to fart, I wouldn't be secretive about it. I would openly fart, and then I'd look over and go, damn loose boards. And I'd say, you got to watch that spot over there. Be careful. Don't step on that one. And then, of course, they would have to go and step on it. When they did, I would go, that's what it was like to grow up being a Moore shower. But, no, this is a farting cat. And I went over and spent time. And sure enough, he was just farting his ass off. I've never seen anything like it, like every couple of minutes. And this is the cat that I'm supposed to be flying back to Dallas with on Southwest Airlines. And so, with great reluctance and trepidation, I went on the plane, but Emily had seen her vet yesterday and did get some sedatives to give him. And apparently the sedative also managed to settle his colon. Thank you, God. So on this Thanksgiving Day, this Thanksgiving week, I am thankful for Bean's settled colon because he didn't cut one fart on the plane. And I was picturing some people that were rather upset. Or, Ken, how about this one? I didn't want to be charged with cat farts that didn't even belong to me. That's what I was concerned about, because my face is known and people are like, you're not going to believe this. Aaron Pierce, the guy from 24, sat right next to me and farted all the way to Dallas.
You're on the cover of TMZ tomorrow.
Exactly. But because the plane was not crowded, I slipped him in his carrier case underneath the middle seat, and I had no one on my aisle at all. And I was up against the window, and fortunately his bowels relaxed without cutting a fart. And it was a beautiful trip. Thank you, because I was nervous about it.
Dude, you did a live stream from the plane as you were taxiing.
Yeah. So anyone who wants to see the live stream as we were taxiing and through takeoff on into the air, it's on my page on Facebook. And I didn't open the cage to show you guys Bean's face, but he was a good boy. When they started their descent into Dallas, because you're in a pressurized tube, you feel on descent, that's when it will hit your ears. So he started meowing, and we might want to change up the cat's diet to do something healthier. Yes, Justin. And that is what we're going to be doing. And he's big, so we're going to get him to lose weight. And it'll be great. What did Ernest say? Read that one.
I did a Rusty on the elevator. Then 8 nuns got on when I got off. They went into convulsions. And I turned around and said, yes, I did. Oh my
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You know, that's what I love about the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott is we will talk about thanking God for gifts and farting in the same episode.
you never know what direction our show is going to
You
take.
just do not know.
Oh my gosh.
So you're spending your Thanksgiving at home with your 2 gals?
Yeah, there's Leanne. Hey, Leanne. Yeah,
Hello, Leanne Isaacson.
we're going. She, look, Scott's on. Scott.
Look, he said, I love this show, Highbrow Entertainment.
Wow. That's funny.
Well, hopefully Scott's watching it laying down. We wish you comfort, Scott. I know that back pain is no fun, dude. No fun at all. So I'm sorry you're dealing with that.
I mean, there's a little part of me that thinks he is running late for a craps game, but
And so he staged some back pain to get the hell to the casino. That's funny. By the way, speaking of funny, I thought it was funny that Jeffrey Gittimer was talking with you and Doug about how to order a specific dish in Philadelphia. And he said he orders it female. And both of you turned and looked at him and he went, yeah, no nuts.
right. What was it?
But I mean, there's so many things. You could order an ice cream sundae, female style. You could order a muffin, brownies. How about that? You get
muffin. What was it he was talking
you
about?
could get the brownies, like female brownies, no nuts. I just thought it was very funny. I'd never heard that expression before, and it's harmless. I mean, that's very funny. So all of the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott, our whole audience is going to start walking around ordering things female style.
Oh my God, that's funny. So Justin says, Scott, email me your address and I'll get you some. Oh, there you go. And it will, Scott. I promise you. It will help you. I promise you.
And Justin, reach out to me on Facebook. Just send me a message on Facebook Messenger or reach out through Ken and let me know about Delilah.
Yeah. Cinnamon buns. That's what it was. No nuts on cinnamon buns.
That's what it was.
He's like, and I want them. What did he say? I want them female style.
Female style. Yeah. And Justin, I don't know if Delilah is currently in production or if they've stockpiled some episodes they're rerunning for the holidays, but I am pretty free with the exception of the 8th through the 18th of December. But until then, I'm free, and then I'll have some free time again in January. So anytime, just let me know, and we'll hook it up.
Oh, Scott's emailing Justin right now.
Nice.
I've got his email too, dude. I'll connect you and Justin through.
I really hope Scott gets some relief because it's
been a couple of weeks where he's had some issues.
Yeah, and he was flying, and I'm sure that had to be uncomfortable. Being in that seat stuck for 5 hours coming back in from Honolulu just to the mainland and maybe then plus another hour flight from San Fran down to Las Vegas. That's a long time to be just stuck in a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had lower back pain and I am telling you it's no bueno at all. So we're sorry, Scott. Sorry for you, man. Hope you feel better really soon. You get some of Justin's CBD and you will feel better. I promise you. So,
as we say goodnight, what were you going to say, Ken?
I was going to say, yeah, we're grateful that Jill's mom lives right here and we're all going to get together for Thanksgiving over at her house and enjoy the day and the freedoms we have in this country, man.
That's beautiful. And I want to offer a closing thought and encourage everyone to take this exercise seriously, but just give yourself the following gift, if you would. Take a piece of paper. Don't even wait. Don't wait till Thursday. Thursday is not a bigger day than today. All days are equal. We'll figure that out one of these days. But tonight, we're going to say goodnight in a few minutes. And I encourage you to just take 10 minutes, 10 simple minutes with a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and physically write it, because it will help you if you're moving this through you and writing it with your own hand. Write down the things that you consider to be beautiful about your life. Write down the things that are wonderful, the things that you esteem to be blessings, and maybe the things that you have taken for granted for quite some time, and just keep the list going. Just keep it going and going and going. And all of a sudden you'll realize you've already won the lottery. You don't have to wait on anything to feel good. You just have to see it. You have to see it in front of you on paper. Make the list long, because without even knowing all of you, I can tell you your list is long. Take time to acknowledge that and watch what it does to your level of radiance in every area of your life. It's a beautiful gift.
Hey,
We love you, and we wish you happy Thanksgiving.
And for those of you, and this is not a shameless plug for my course, by the way, bro, but for those that are on here, there's a lot of people on here that are in my course. I have the weekly coaching call.
Yes.
And
which I have taught on 3
taught
occasions.
3 times. It's been amazing. You had grown men in tears the first time. It was amazing. But I'm going to do a special. I'm going to do it on Wednesday evening, I think, this week. And
Oh, nice.
I might even see if I can bribe you to come in and share some wisdom. If
Well,
you're,
I'm always up for that. And I do
If-
want to tell
if
you,
you're
Ken,
around.
that thanks for bearing with me, and our audience who also knows that we break off and do a Ken and Glenn show, usually on a Friday, sometimes a Saturday instead. But during this time of travel, I've not been free to do that. And so I'm grateful that this week we will, if you're up for it, we'll run a show out on Friday or Saturday night of
Yep.
this week. And it's just great to be home. It's great to travel, and it's also great to be back home.
yeah. There's Mark Rodriguez hiding in the background.
And Mark's a part of your Grow Live Academy.
He is. Got some amazing.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mark.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching. And I mean, you know me, I'll be live probably
85 times between now and Thursday.
I was going to say 10. 85 might be a little much.
Hey, I'm going to go watch some Sunday Night Football and finish up with my Jersey Mike sandwich.
Okay.
But I love you, dear brother, and happy
Love you
Thanksgiving
too.
week to you. And we'll talk. We are taking off tomorrow at the school, but I am teaching on Tuesday. So if you want to swing by, come by Tuesday day or night.
I will
Okay.
for sure.
Hey, God bless you guys. Go out there, make
God
great
bless you
choices,
guys.
and open your hearts and connect with each other. Enjoy time
Amen.
with your families.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Good night.